Oh howdy all, grab yourself a drink, it is time for some PathOfExile discussion. Grinding Games made a really important policy change today that's an easy one to miss, because I don't think they've communicated this one very well, and it's going to cause a real debacle if it goes through without any changes. Let's go through the 3 changes that are in this account moderation changes document that they posted today, which I'll put a link to down in the description below, and I'll also burn into the video. The first change that they're making is the big one, and that is some increases to the effect of being muted. We'll come back to that in a second though, because it's the second and third changes that are the ones that make it easy to dismiss this document as not applying to you. The second and third policy change relates to players who intentionally get a character that is level 100 sent to the void, so that the server announcement for a hardcore character death triggers, and that does apply even in softcore leagues. You'll get an announcement saying this character was deleted, they were sent off to the void, and then that'll be broadcast to everyone that's playing at that time. People who do that deliberately after renaming their character either to harass another player or to promote a commercial cheating site will end up with more serious consequences than they've had in the past. So that's a change that I think will be fairly uncontroversial and won't affect many players. But that's a small part of these changes. The big part of the changes relate to chat mutes that come from more trivial infractions. For example, if someone makes you angry in global chat and you call them a fool, then you're likely to get a 10-minute chat mute for being rude. Now what's changing is that with these new policies, if you are subject to a chat mute for any reason, whether it be one of the more severe things or one of the more trivial, then you'll not be shown as online on the trade website. That's the main thing, and you'll be unable to send or receive whispers from players unless they're on your friends list and you're on their friends list. This effectively is a ban from participating in trading in the game. Now some of the things that will get you muted include trading in global channels. Now sometimes this is flagrant. For example, someone lists 5 items and the prices they're asking for them. Sometimes though it's merely trade adjacent behavior. For example, someone asks how much is this item worth, and you respond with 13 divines, and then someone reports that because they think your typing of 13 divines was intended as trading in global. This definitely happens, you will get maliciously reported for things like that, and that's going to be much worse with these account moderation changes. The second thing though that's going to get really bad is when the trolls really come out to play with this one. For example, one of the things that Grinding Games' Code of Conduct prohibits is using in-game chat channels to talk politics. And there's lots of theories as to why that is, but I think it's mostly just because most discussions on the internet about politics tend to get pretty heated and pretty nasty pretty quickly. However, there are plenty of ways that you can goad someone else into talking about politics even when that's not their intention. For example, you can pick a celebrity that's known for something else, but that also has very controversial political views, and you can then start talking about that celebrity. For example, you could say, hey, what do people think of Kanye West's new album? And then anytime someone responds to that with something political, then you can simply go and report it in order to be a troll. I think this is going to get really bad, and it gets even worse when you start factoring in that Grinding Games have a policy of not letting you call someone a scammer even if they are a scammer. This is the policy that resulted in the explosion of popularity of trade discords back in 2020, and it's something that's only going to get worse with these account moderation changes, making the price of calling out a scammer in-game even higher than it is at the moment. For all these reasons, I think Grinding Games really need to send this one back to the drawing board. Definitely for the really flagrant cases, and there's been a huge uptick of these over the last month, then in that case these changes do make a lot of sense. But when it comes to more minor infractions, I think a 10-minute chat mute with no further escalation is actually a pretty good way to tell someone, hey, cool it. And this is going to remove that tool from their arsenal, and it's going to result in a lot of screenshots, both real and falsified, of extremely bad moderation decisions getting posted in places like the PathOfExile subreddit. So in short, clamping down on misuse of void announcements is a good thing, but the rest of this policy document is going to cause a lot of problems, even for players who don't intentionally go out of their way to cause trouble. And my advice to players is just going to be to get out of global chat until all of the mess cools down, and until all of the trolls that are going to be empowered by these changes end up finding something else to do, because they're going to make things pretty miserable for a period of time. May your chat mutes be arbitrary.